Now, one thing that we've got to be conscious of all the time is clownfish harassing corals, because clownfish don't actually have a symbiotic relationship with corals. They've got a symbiotic relationship with anemones. And when the clownfish go and play inside the anemone, it's a beneficial relationship to both the anemone and the clownfish. But that's not the case with the corals, because you can see there, that's a dead coral there, that the clownfish were playing in, and they're very sharp shards. And when the clownfish are in the anemones and they're pushing the coral's flesh into these sharp shards, they do basically internally rupture the coral. So those sharp shards are there to allow the coral to contract, and then those shards to offer an amount of protection to fish that might try and nibble at or eat the coral. But then if the clownfish are in there and they keep on throwing their body weight around and internally rupturing or internally damaging the coral due to the behaviour or the shenanigans of the clownfish, it can actually kill the coral. And in this particular aquarium, the clownfish have basically gone from one Euphilia type species to another and damaged them, and quite potentially ended up killing them. Then they've moved on to new pieces, and this is the latest one that they've been playing in. So it's quite reasonable to believe that if they do keep playing in this coral, that this one may die, just like some of the other ones actually have. So the question is, what can you do about it? I don't really recommend putting an anemone in, though that would be a solution if the clownfish went into the anemone, because the anemone is likely to cause more trouble than they solve. So it may just be the case that these particular clownfish, if we're seeing a systematic destruction of corals, we may not be able to put that style of coral in with the clownfish, with these particular clownfish. So these corals are not likely to have a problem. The soft corals are not likely to have a problem. But the corals that do have a problem may not be able to be kept with these clownfish. So we may have to either remove these clownfish, and hopefully the next lot of clownfish don't do the same thing or don't put more clownfish in, or when selecting more corals for this aquarium, we may have to bear in mind which ones we've already had a problem with and avoid them in the future.